Hello, I wanted to give you my take and my comments on the Medical Medium podcast that just came out about the plot to take down Medical Medium. So, if you're not aware, go check out the podcast. I'll put a link here. Um, there are over 17 hours of recordings of a group of individuals that were planning a plot to create an article and then eventually a movie to try and sell to Netflix to discredit and take down Medical Medium. If you've been in the Medical Medium community, you will recognize some of the voices on this podcast, on the recordings. Amber, who Heal with Amber on Instagram, recorded these conversations and she shared them with Anthony, and that this is what's in the podcast. So like I said, if you've been in the Medical Medium community, you're going to recognize some of these voices. Some of these people are plant-based influencers who have very big accounts on Instagram, and a lot of them have worked directly with Anthony in the past. You will have seen them on things together, seen them together. We're connected at some point in time. So the things they had to say were pretty disturbing and upsetting. Even if they don't agree with Anthony, I don't believe there is any reason to try and take someone down ever. That does not seem to be, in integrity in any way. I know one of the people involved in this had put some information out a year or two ago. There was a woman in the community who had passed away, as I understand it, from breast cancer. And a few of these people were apparently very triggered and very upset by that, and they blamed Medical Medium. So what went down with that whole story, I don't know. That's what was published by this one particular person, and who had a large following. And we don't know Anthony's side of the story. We don't know the family's side of the story. As far as I know, they've never spoken out or been involved in the conversation. And again, I don't know exactly what happened, but that was the triggering event that caused these people to sort of turn. And then apparently behind the scenes over the last year or two have been creating this plot to try and take him down after that. And again, the things that they have recorded and that they said on this podcast were very dark, very negative. The energy is not good at all. Regardless of what you think about Medical Medium, the energy is very negative. It's very sad and disheartening to see that these people with these big followings that preach to be all kind and gentle and love and plant-based are behind the scenes really on the attack. It's very out of integrity with what they show on social media. And, I think from an astrological perspective, we just had Pluto move into Aquarius, and Pluto's the planet of death. It is the planet of shadow. It is going to shine a light on all the things that are out of integrity, especially in relationship and community. So it's not a surprise that this stuff is coming out now. And there certainly seemed to be in the recordings that they shared on the podcast. And again, there's 17 hours and we heard a few little clips. So we don't know exactly, but those few little clips are really incriminating enough and disturbing. Again, they're just disturbing and they are from a very negative place. So it just does not give a good impression. It does not give good energy. And, my take is if they no longer feel aligned with Medical Medium, if they no longer feel connected to his information or to him personally for some reason, that's fine. None of us are responsible for being attached to something for the rest of our lives, right? You can move on. You can live and let live. But there was very clearly a plan to destroy someone. And that feels it really doesn't feel good. So, regardless of how you feel about Anthony, regardless of how you feel about the medical medium information, regardless of how you feel about anyone, I think the healthiest thing to do most often is just to move on and let everyone else's karma play out. Whatever happened, and we'll never know exactly. And I'm really not one to gossip or get involved, but I really wanted to give my point of view, especially for some people who have not been in this community for very long. I've been in here since 2017. It's when I started my medical medium journey. I am trained as a traditional registered dietitian nutritionist. I have 2 science degrees. I've had countless certifications, thousands of hours of study, well over $100,000 invested in my education. And I have to tell you that 95% of what Medical Medium shares is consistent with what we know about plant-based medicine. So what Anthony's sharing is not hurting anyone. You can't hurt anyone by encouraging them to eat more fruits and vegetables and to live a more plant-based lifestyle. You can't hurt anyone with that. That's just good advice for every single person on the planet, relatively speaking, right? So, this agenda to take him down is very disturbing and unfounded, in my opinion, right? Even if you don't believe the messages he gets, even if you don't, want to drink celery juice or whatever, the information he shares is consistent with what we know about plant-based medicine. And in my training as a nutritionist, I see the overlaps. The only place where I put my faith that is beyond what I see from plant-based science is the root causes and the pathogens. And so, of course, there's celery juice and there's the specific cleanses and things. But the only leap of faith to take is that these chronic health conditions are caused by pathogens, by viruses and bacteria primarily. And the reason I shifted my diet immediately to this style of eating, I shifted my entire nutrition practice to this like overnight, was I read the first Medical Medium book. And again, like I said, I've been studying nutrition for a long time. I had been studying functional medicine before I found this book, and it never made sense to me. It never lined up. I never was satisfied. And when I read that book, the opening chapters, every cell in my body started lighting up. Everything told me, this is the truth. You finally found the answers. And so I took this huge leap of faith and just immediately shifted my diet to that, and I immediately shifted my practice. And that was over 5 years ago, and it's been the best thing I've ever done, and it's given me the best tools to help my clients heal their chronic health symptoms that I don't think I would have been able to offer them without this information. I know I wouldn't have been able to offer them. So I've seen it perform absolute miracles for myself and my clients, and I'm a full believer in the information. That being said, do I make Anthony my guru and believe every single thing he says? I don't make anyone my guru. I don't believe every single thing that anyone says. I run everything through my own discernment. I run everything through my own intuition, through my own body. I sit with it, I feel into it, and I say, is this right or wrong for me? And I encourage all of my clients to do the same thing. Is this right or wrong for you? There is no one single path. Everyone is finding their own way in using everything that life throws at us and using all this information. So, if someone neglected their own inner authority, their own inner wisdom, and made choices that were not right for them, that's on us. That's when we do that, that's on us. We have to make choices that feel right and that we know are right for us, and they don't have to be right for everyone else. And if we follow a path and at some point we need to change, because we're all going to change at some point in time, then we change and we let things go. Live and let live, right? The behind the scenes information that came through on this podcast was very disturbing. And again, these are big influencers in the plant-based healing world on Instagram. So that's my take. I still fully, wholeheartedly believe in this information. I feel the best when I eat this way. I've healed my own psoriasis, adrenal fatigue, dizziness, chronic pain in my lower back, keratosis pilaris on my arms, little bumps on the arms, like a whole long list of symptoms, lots of sleep disturbances, whole long list of symptoms. And I've seen so many of these symptoms healed in my clients as well. And I don't think there's anything better out there in my experience in 20 years working with nutrition information. So that's my take on it. I probably won't say anything else. I don't like to be involved in any kind of drama. I like to stay in my lane and focus on what I'm here to do and how I am meant to serve. But I did want to give that context for those of you that this is new information, or if it's really disturbing to you. I know it's very upsetting to a lot of people to hear that, especially those who previously had connections with those people and were maybe friendly with them. Run every single person through your discernment. And like I said, with what's going on astrologically, we're going to be seeing more of this, a lot more of this. A lot of communal systems are going to be experiencing, communities and communal systems are going to be experiencing absolute revolution. And anything that is in darkness in communities is going to be exposed to the light. So Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 19 years. Let's go. So I'm Rachel Pellison. Thank you for listening, and I have lots of resources to help you heal when you're ready.